Welcome, everyone. I am so excited today to have Brittni Schroeder with us. She is a business coach and helps a lot of photographers and creatives in the industry. And today we're going to talk about workflow and automated systems with Brittni. And you might be familiar with Brittni. She's done CEO in the past, and we just love her. So, Brittni, I'm going to give the floor to you. What would you like to teach us today and talk about?
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, let me just tell you a little bit. Actually, I have a presentation, so I will pull it up because I think that it has a little bit about me on it. So I'm going to go to my screen.
And while Brittni's, yes, and while Brittni's doing this, feel free to post your questions below as they come up. I see that. Let me add it. Add to stage. There you go, Brittni.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let me see if this is. Can you see that? It says client work, client.
Yes.
Client work experience workflow. Okay. So just a little bit about me, just to introduce myself. I'm Brittni and I grew up country. I always try to throw in something different just to kind of become memorable. But a little bit about me is I don't think you ever say I was a photographer. Like I think you're always a photographer, but I did high school senior photography for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And I owned a photography magazine. We sold it years back. But about 5 or 6 years ago, I pivoted. And I'm sure that you guys all kind of feel this, but I had to move. So I was like, do I really want to start another location-based business? And I wanted to have the flexibility. And like a lot of like creatives, like the creative stuff comes easy for a lot of people. For me, I had to work a little bit harder on the creative, but the business and the analytics, that came a little bit more naturally to me. And I'd always helped people on business. I was speaking on business. And so I thought, you know what, this is going to be a good chance for me to pivot, and I'm going to do business and marketing because that's what I really love. And so that's what I've been doing. I'm running a nonprofit too, but that is kind of my background. I grew up country and I loved it. One stoplight, farmed for my grandparents. And so that's kind of how I got to where I'm at. I recently just moved again. So moved to Utah. So I left Texas. I'm so sad because I love Texas, but I moved back to Utah where I grew up to be close to family. So after 20 years of being away, I moved back home to Utah. So that is kind of me in a nutshell. Instagram's my main platform. That's where I spend most of my time, but I also have a Facebook group called Redefine Your Business. And you can email me, and I also have a podcast, Redefine Your Business. So those are pretty much all of the places that you can find me. So let's dive in. Again, if you have questions along the way, Vickie you can stop me at any time. I can answer those, or we can do it at the end as well. So one of the things that I want to talk about is creating an unforgettable client experience. This is so important. It's so important. I'm currently reading a book, and it's called Broken Windows, Broken Business. And it talks about the whole client experience. It's more geared towards like businesses with like a customer service, because it gives examples of like Walmart and Kmart and Target and all those things. But it's such an important, like there's so many good takeaways in this book because it talks about really the client experience. And I lived where my photography business, my high school senior business really took off was El Paso, Texas. And if you are familiar with El Paso, it has a really interesting demographic because it's on the Mexico border and 85% Hispanic and has the biggest military base. And so it was a lower, like the demographic, the median income was very low. Like I think like 30, 35. I mean, and that was like a million years ago. And so when I moved there and I met with a bunch of photographers, and at the time, which was a million years ago, I remember I was charging like $500 or $600. And at that time, people were like, the other photographers were like, you'll never get paid that much. You know, like that's so much money. There isn't money here. And I remember just saying to them, there's money everywhere. You just have to find it. So as I started to really grow and develop my brand, I really created a solid, strong brand. And I was by far the like highest priced photographer in the area. and I had a totally like successful business where I was booking 3 months out in, at the time. And luckily El Paso has lots of sunshine. We don't get a lot of cold. So I was steady all year round. But one of the things that I often talk about is, obviously I knew how to take pictures too. And I developed and really like refined that skill. But one of the things that I truly believe set me apart from my competition is I had created this amazing client experience. And a lot of times we don't remember the products or the services, we don't remember the details, but people always remember how you made them feel. And so it's really important that you take the time to really create an amazing client experience. So what are things that I did in my client experience? And I'm going to kind of brush over this stuff because I want to get to like the automated part of the presentation. But one of the things that I did is I had a welcome packet, and it was a big gold envelope with my branding over it. And I put a thank you letter, handwritten thank you for like hiring me. And I put in, I offered this consultation. And then I put coupons in there and just like a cute little like stickers and stuff like that in there. I always wrote handwritten thank yous. When they booked, I wrote a handwritten thank you. And when I delivered their order, I did a handwritten thank you. I also offered a free consultation, fashion consultation. People love to be told what to do. And I knew that. And I love fashion. I love hair, makeup. I love all those things. And so I offered that, hey, I will help you pick out your clothes. And that's something that people struggle with, is what to wear. So I did that. I also gave a thank you gift. I've done a few different ones throughout the years, but one of them was just like a cute little necklace that said be, like be you. I also would give swag. I had shirts that had my logo on the back and cute little, like they were like muscle shirts. It also was that like the presentation. When you start to charge a higher price, you're able to like really create like beautiful gifts and presentation. And I think when you charge more, like people expect more too. And so I didn't want people to be disappointed. Like I paid all this much. So every part of the process was just, it had I had a high standard. Then I would follow up with my clients, and make sure that if they had any questions, if they needed any more prints, what can I do for them? And then I also would try to do like client appreciation events where I would like, hey, let's do like a fun photo shoot or something. I never did what is it called? I'm totally drawing a blank, where you get all the, a team. What is it called, Vickie?
A model.
A model team. I didn't do anything like that. Which I think, they're totally effective and they can totally work. But I wanted to give like all my clients this amazing experience. And so I would keep doing things for them after, if there was somebody who I like loved shooting with, I'd be like, hey, let's go do a fun shoot, like just kind of like on a whim and stuff. But I tried to show like client appreciation and support my clients. So creating an unforgettable client experience isn't all about gifting. So I just told you about all my gifts, all the gifts and all the things that I do, but there are several ways to ensure an unforgettable client experience. You want to make sure your clients feel seen, heard, and understood. When you connect with your clients and make them feel appreciated, that creates the ultimate client experience. So although I did love the swag and I love the gifts, it was about like the communication. And I was listening to something the other day. I think it was like a podcast or a book, I can't remember, but it was talking about that, like all the issues that you have in your business, a lot of time, it usually is from communication. So either you're not communicating or you're not giving them the right information. But a lot of our problems in our business, they start with communication. And if we have good, effective communication, then we're going to create a really great like client experience. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys, I want to kind of break down the process. So as you're running your business, one of the things I see with photographers and entrepreneurs in general is we start out our business and at first we can handle it. We can email everybody. We can, because we're starting out, we don't have maybe like a ton of volume. But what happens is you have to set your business up with the mindset that like, I'm going to scale my business and I might only have like a handful of clients now. But if you want to grow your business, you need to make sure that your business is set up in a way that you can handle more volume. So look at your business now. Look at your different processes in your business. You're fine now. If you got 10 new clients tomorrow, would you be able to manage all of that? I always say there's two reasons why small businesses fail. The first one is they don't grow fast enough. The second one is they grow too fast and they lose the integrity of their business. And a lot of that reason is they don't have systems and processes set up. A lot of times we're a one-man, show. And so we're sending all of the emails. We're sending all of these different emails. And if you don't have processes and automation set up in your business, it's so easy for people to fall through the cracks, right? And so I'm like, kind of like my jam is like automate. There's so many things you can automate in your business. And so when you can take those things off of your plate, then it frees up time for you to market. It frees up time for you to like get more education. It frees up time for you to do like personal work. So when we can automate and have really good systems in our business, then it allows us to scale. I don't know how many of you, I never did, but like how many people have like assistants, or you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I need help. And so you might hire somebody, but then what you see is you hire somebody, but then you still have to manage them. You spend all this time managing people. And so it's really important that you establish like processes and systems in your business. And then when you need help, it's easy to like delegate because you have these systems in place and you're not having to like train and manage and teach people how to do all the processes and systems in your business. So let's kind of break it down. So I like to give like people actionable steps. And so today, if you are writing notes down, like this is great. I also have something at the end where I can send you guys. And so we'll get to that. But the first thing that I want you to think about in your business is, what is the process? So here is your client experience. And I want you to write down all of the things, like jot down so say, where does it start? Where does the lead come from? So say the very first thing is you get somebody who messages you on Instagram, or they fill out a form on your website and you get an inquiry. Then when that happens, what is the next thing that you do? Do you send them your pricing? Do you set up a consultation? What is it? And so you want to write down, like, what are all of the steps? And a lot of times you can go to your email and your most recent client and you can say, here's all the emails that I am sending to my clients. Here they are. And you want to write those down. With automation, anything that you are doing in your business over and over and over again, like the same thing, more than likely that is something that you can automate. Sometimes it's different, because where it gets tricky with photographers is there's different dates. And so you kind of have to tweak it for like what the dates are, but there are definitely automations and systems that you can set up that will be like based on different like dates in your business. So let's kind of brainstorm and think, what are all of the client emails? What are you sending to your clients? So what are all of those? What you want to do is, when you're communicating with people, and this is really in any business, you really want to walk each client through the process step by step. And that means, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? I always talk about that this was during COVID and we had decided to put a pool in. And I had I met with a bunch of pool guys. I was kind of like interviewing to see who'd be a good fit and pricing around and everything. And we ended up going with this company, and they did a great job. But they came, they did a presentation. I was super impressed. And then the salesman came over. They were like in branding. They had the logo. They gave me like a folder. Like, I was very, very impressed with the whole presentation. So then we decided to go ahead. I make a payment, like the first initial payment. They start and they're communicating a little bit. at the beginning, and then in the middle, the communication kind of just falls off. And I'm like, okay, what's going on now? What's going on now? And as the whole process started to play out, less and less communication. And I was getting really frustrated, because if you guys have ever put a pool in, it's a huge mess. Like, it is a huge mess. And they have the contractors coming over, they leave trash in your yard. Mine did anyway, left trash in the yard. I didn't realize I'd have to get my entire yard re-landscaped, all of these different things. So the communication starts to kind of like just fizzle. So I'm like, strong beginning, in the middle, and totally failed at the end, like no communication. So as we're getting ready to finish our pool, we have this big freeze. This is a few years ago in Texas. And it's funny because I kept telling my pool guy, like, you need to hire me, like, you need to automate your business. So it's a kind of a habit of mine to tell like anybody I come in contact with, like, oh, you need to hire me because you need help to improve your business. But so as we are going along, we have this big freeze, and we had maybe used our pool like once or twice. We have this big freeze and something breaks in our pool. Mm-hmm. And it breaks, and then we can't get it fixed, and parts are all in back order. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 months before we could get it fixed. Ironically enough, then the pool guy, and our pool had been finished for like a month when this had happened. The pool guy like texts me right after it breaks and is like, hey, I need to come and get that final payment for $10,000. And I was so irritated. Was it his fault that my pool froze and it broke? No. Could he have prevented it if he would have communicated with his clients like, hey, this is the proper care of your pool during a freeze? Yes. So as a business, like, I know it's not his fault, but if he would have created this client experience and communicated with me, this would have been preventable. And so this big, long, drawn out story is, you want to walk your clients through every single step. You do not want them to show up and they like have just gotten their eyebrows waxed and, you know, they're all red and blotchy. You have to educate them and walk them through the entire process. What's next? Okay, your pictures are done. This is what happens next. Okay, your pictures are ready for delivery or pickup or whatever. You want to communicate all of those things with them. So make sure that you are walking your clients through every single step. So here are a few different emails, or here's a few different pieces of information that you are going to provide. You're going to schedule their photo shoot. The time, we have a time change. And so with me, sometimes people want spring pictures, sometimes they want fall. You have to be on top of, okay, here are the different times. Know that like when my business was finally established, I did not shoot on the weekends. And so during the fall, people had to get out of school because in El Paso, it got dark pretty early. And so you want to educate people on those different things. Like, know if these are the times, know that this is when we start and end. Other emails are what to wear, how to prepare, the timeline, how it will work. You know, when can they expect to get their pictures back? As a photographer, there's nothing worse than you taking someone's pictures and then being like, oh, okay, well, I need those by tomorrow because they are due for the yearbook. Like, the yearbook needs my pictures, right? And so again, this is one of those things where you want to give them a timeline and set the expectations. Like, this is the process. This is how long it takes. This is what you can expect. Another email that you can write is just checking in. If people book like months in advance, you want them to know like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I just want to check in, let you know your shoot's coming up. I'm excited to work with you. What to expect, during and after the photo shoot, before, how to order, and then upsell. So these are a list of some of the different emails that you can write and things that you will want to communicate with your clients. So when you write an email, any communication, you want to end with a call to action. Okay, what is next? So this is kind of, you're preparing them, right? So if you send an email and it is schedule a session, the call to action might be like, click the link below to schedule your session now. Or if you say that you don't do a fashion consultation, but you have a what to wear guide, your call to action would be like, hey, check out my Pinterest boards to see some outfit ideas. Or, hey, now's the time to start shopping. You don't want to be stressed at the end. Or, hey, make sure that you get your hair done, or make sure that you are doing all the things that you need to do. Or, hey, let's schedule a time to order your prints. So you always want to end, excuse me, with a call to action. And this is a really good kind of like rule of thumb in your business in general, is always give them a call to action. The call to action could be follow me on Instagram or tag me in a post. It can be something like that. So you always want to have a call to action. Sorry. Okay. Do we have any questions, Vickie, so far, or keep rolling, or what?
Anybody who is watching the live, please feel free to type your questions in. We can stop and answer them, or we can answer them at the end. If you're on the replay, be sure to tag Brittni or myself, and we will get you answers.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so this is something that we all struggle with, and that is paralysis by analysis, right? Like when we have too many choices, we are completely overwhelmed and we freeze and we don't make choices. And that is the same mentality you need to have with your clients. So don't give people too many calls to action or too many things to do all at once. You want to break it down into bite-sized pieces. So I recently worked with a photographer. It was a wedding photographer, and we were automating her business and all of the things. Her very first email was literally like, I mean, seriously, probably like 4 pages long and super overwhelming. And it was like, here's all the budgets, here's what to wear, here's how to prepare, all of these things. And so what happens is people feel overwhelmed with it. And so if you have a bunch of emails that you're sending out, try to only have one call to action in each email. And you can break it up. So you can say, hey, fill out this, if you have a questionnaire, like, hey, I'm excited that you scheduled your session. Before we get started, fill out your questionnaire, and then click to do it. Then maybe you break it up and you send an email a day later or a few hours later, and it can be another email and it's another call to action. Don't overwhelm people. Because also too, what happens is if you have this great big huge long email and they're links and you're sending them to different places, a lot of times too, they click away, and then the chances of them coming back and finishing are like they really do decrease. And so you don't want people to miss any important pieces of information. So with that in mind, like just give them bite-sized pieces of what they need to do with educating them on the entire process. So, okay. So now I'm going to give you just a few examples of some automated workflows that you can set up in your business. So here is a portrait session example. So you can send them, you send them your pricing and they're good to go, and then they pay the sitting fee. And once the sitting fee is scheduled, then another email goes out. It's like, hey, it's time to schedule your session. Then they schedule. Then the next email can be, hey, here is an intake form, because you want to get to know them, their address, maybe their favorite treats, what high school they go to, whatever, just any of that different information. And then the next email can be like, hey, here is some ideas on what to wear. Here, here's like a little guide or some tips. Then the next email can be, hey, let's set up a consult so we can discuss your session. Then there can be another email like what to expect the day of your photo shoot. And this can be, if you're sending them to a salon, or you're sending them, to get their, if a hair makeup artist is coming to their house, whatever it may be. And then the next one is going to be your reminder. Hey, your session is coming up. It's tomorrow. I'm super excited. Just a few last minute things. Make sure that you bring all your accessories and, comfortable shoes if you're like going to a kind of a harder location, but you're going to, send that little reminder, how to prepare. And then it could be, then the last one could be, hey, after the shoot, it's time. This is how long it will take. Schedule your ordering session. So here is an example of an automation that I helped a photographer set up, where it's like what to wear for your shoot, and then an email that's before, during, and after your shoot. Again, just educating. And then here is another one that I think this one is like a kind of grabbing a testimonial. So, okay. So you can do all these different emails. Like I said, sometimes it gets tricky, and it depends on if you're using a client management like Dubsado or 17 Hats, then yes, you can set dates, and these can be automatically sent out according to the date. So you do have that option. But if you don't have a client management like that, you can set up just templates where you have the templates that are ready to go, and you kind of give yourself a schedule, and you're like, hey, I need to send this out. So there's things that you can do that will really help you like save time. So one of the other things, I am a lover of passive income. I love passive income, and I'm constantly looking for ways to make money that I don't have to work for, right? I mean, it just sounds glorious, right? So passive income. So here's different things that you can do is you can set up to be like an affiliate. So you can send the welcome email, the intake, passive income. So when I say passive income, it can be like, hey, maybe you have created a relationship with a boutique, and maybe they have a coupon code. And this is one of those that like you might have to work for, might be a little bit different. But what if I had a client, and she had reached out to an online Etsy store or something, and she was buying a lot of like cute hair things. She was like did newborns, and she reached out to them and just said, hey, would you be interested in setting up an affiliate? I will send you business, and in return, we set up some affiliate program. And so she was referring to them. So for every sale she got a little bit she got like a kickback. The other thing that you can do is apply if you have, if you get accepted, you can apply to be an Amazon affiliate, and you can set up a store on Amazon, and hey, here are some cute like outfits, and you can put together different looks or different cute clothes. When they click on it, you get paid for it. So I'm always looking for passive income and ways to make money. And so think about your own business and think about like opportunities that you might have to make some affiliate marketing. This is a client of mine. She's actually a photographer, but she's also created where she does these retreats. She takes women on these retreats all over the world. And so one of the passive incomes that we created is how, if you guys ever taken any classes on travel hacking, like how to use credit cards to get points. So we created an email that said how I fly for free. And she got the referral bonuses, the links, and did an email, and like, here's the 3 credit cards that I use when I travel. And this was part of her automated workflow. She had one credit card company tell her like, oh, you're maxed out for the year. Like, we can't give you any more points, because she was getting so many people were signing up for her credit card, and she was able to fly for free. So this is just kind of an example. Every business is different. So just think of your own business and think of, is there things that I refer? Is there businesses that I'm using that I could set up some sort of affiliate marketing where I'm getting paid to refer them? So this again, she's a traveler. So then, hey, here's we set up an Amazon storefront. Here's some of my favorite travel items that I get. And so this was kind of like the process. Okay, another part of your automated workflow, and this is something that we oftentimes kind of forget about. If people leave us a review, we're like, oh, sweet. But make this a part of your workflow where you have an already written email that says, thank you, I've loved working with you. It's been so great. If you have loved the images that I've given you, I would love it if you would leave me a review, and have an email already put together where it automatically just links them to like your Google, Yelp, whatever you're using. So here is an email that kind of talks about, this is like mine with business coaching, but it says, I've loved coaching you. You're amazing. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with you, blah, blah, blah. I hope you got a lot out of our sessions. If you're happy with the coaching, I would love you to leave me a review here, or both if you really love me. And what I did is I linked Google My Business, and I linked Facebook. I have since removed the Facebook one just because I feel like it's kind of, the Facebook business pages are kind of becoming irrelevant because there's just not a lot of traction on there. But either way, leave a review. You can see, here's a close-up of that, where I'm saying, hey, here and here, leave these. I like to do on Google My Business, and that's because instead of doing like a form or something, because only they can leave you a review on Google Your Business, and you can always take that testimonial, that review, and put it on your website. I've seen where some people send like a form and ask them to do it that way, which is great, but you're kind of limited. And Google, like my other soapbox is SEO and getting like growing your Google and growing your SEO on your account. But it helps when you have reviews on, people still go to Google like all the time. So you want to make sure that you're registered on Google My Business and that people are leaving you reviews. So I'm just going to kind of break down. We'll go through this kind of fast, but here's an example of senior portrait example. Here's some of the emails that are written that can be in like a workflow. I would love to do your pictures. I have attached a link to my magazine with all the information you need. Let me know if you want to book a session. Click here. You can also automate the payment part too. So I have you scheduled for your shoot. Here's the contract, blah, blah, blah. So you can see they're very simple. They're very like one call to action. I'm trying to keep it very minimal. And then the email is set out. Here is the information where I'm talking about, let's do are you interested in a consultation? I rarely do not get it. When I was doing photography, everybody wanted the consultation. Again, I link my magazine here. That is one of the things, and I'm sure that you guys can all relate to this, where you still, like, you can give them your pricing, all your information 10 million times. You always get those 1 or 2 clients a year that are like, oh, I didn't see, like, oh, I didn't know that that's how much the packages were. Or I didn't know that's how much things were going to be or something like that. So I was like kind of an overkill. I would try to send my magazine all the time. And my magazine had a lot of all this information that I sent in there, but I still would break it up in these emails. Then you can send an email, another email another email that's just talking about the final details, like what to prepare. This one was kind of, I would send this one a few days before, and it was basically like, your shoot's coming up. Here's a few things not to do. Don't go get a spray tan. Don't go get your eyebrows waxed. Don't go do this like the day before your pictures. And so this was just kind of a last minute reminders of things, what not to do and how to be prepared. It was kind of a lengthier email. And then another email is, your images are ready. I can't wait to show you this, blah, blah, blah. Click here to schedule an ordering session. I use 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤 as my scheduling app. And my name, this is something that I always say, like, boundaries are set when something's been violated. And I did in-home ordering sessions, and it only took me one time for me to go and spend all this time with a senior. And then they said, oh, can you come back another day because my husband needs to be here. It only took me one time to implement this policy that if I have to come back, you have to pay me. So, and then here is the ordering session. And then another email that is important to have is your upsell. So a lot of times we're leaving money on the table. So I would sell my digital files. I sold albums. Albums were my big sellers. But I also had an opportunity to upsell. So don't forget about the upsell. So my upsells were, I would send out an email, and it was kind of like at the end of the summer when kids were going away to college. And I would say, like, hey, I only do this once a year, but I'm offering a mini session, and I would do a family photo shoot. Your kids leaving to college, it's time to update your family pictures. And I would upsell them with mini sessions. Summer in El Paso, because it was really hot, was my slower season because it was hot. And so I just took the opportunity. Here's a slower season. I'm going to do an upsell and do mini sessions where I don't want to spend 2 hours in the sun melting, but it's a good opportunity to do a 30-minute mini session, can grab some family pictures, and then they have them. The other thing that you can do with upsell is graduation announcements. I know they're not a huge money maker, but it was still an opportunity to make some extra money when maybe you're slowing down in your business or something like that. You could also upsell say offer, hey, I'm having a discount on, an extra album, like for a grandparent gift or something. So, to people who order albums, here's an upsell. So think of in your business, think of like opportunities. You're leaving money on the table if you do not have some sort of system or strategy with upselling. And, if you have happy customers and happy clients, there's opportunities to make more money on them. Like I mentioned with the reviews, make sure that you are set up on Google My Business. And I have a tutorial. I can send that to Vickie, or I can post it in there. But make sure that you are set up on that. Again, it helps with SEO. So once you kind of have an idea of your workflow, then you want to write out all the emails. What are all of the emails that you need to send your clients? Write them out, like, whatever that might be, like give it a title. This can be the follow-up. This can be what to wear, whenever, but make a list of all of the different emails that you need to write. And then you are going to write them out. Take the time to write them out, have them written, save them as templates, automate them, do whatever you want. But have an idea, have a plan and a process. What I use and love for email marketing is Flowdesk. And if it's interesting because as a photographer, I didn't do a very good job of growing my email list. Now that I am doing business coaching, I push it so hard. And so I would have my email list of clients, but I was leaving money on the table. You're leaving money on the table if you don't do email marketing, because you have way more people will see emails than they will social media because of the algorithm. I love Flowdesk. You can go to BrittniSchroeder.com/Flowdesk, and it's a 50% off coupon. They have the most beautiful templates. I'm pretty sure that there are photographers that started Flowdesk because they are so dreamy. Their templates are gorgeous, super user-friendly. That's who I use and I love. I have, for you guys, if you go to BrittniSchroeder.com/workflow, I have this guide where it is kind of some of the worksheets that I showed you in the presentation, where it is here, write down the client experience. It's just kind of a guide that kind of walks you through the process of here's all the things that I need to do. So you can definitely grab that if you go to this link and get that download. So do we have any questions?
We don't yet, but I love how you, in 35 minutes, were able to be so comprehensive, and you hit major pain points for photographers. Communication is the breakdown, I believe. And we get overwhelmed.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, like right now in the Midwest, it's fall. We are all slammed. We don't know what we're doing. I'm running around like a crazy person. I literally just got back from our SSG destination event in Canada, and the next day I had a shoot, and then today I had a shoot. And of course, Mother Nature kicked in, and I don't know which end is up. Jamie is asking, can you show your link again for workflows? It's BrittniSchroeder.com/workflow, correct?
Yes, that's right. Here, if I put it in, is there the window? Can I put it in here?
And anyone who has any questions, Brittni is such a great friend to Senior Style Guide. She has several things in our shop, several classes. You have Rock the Reels. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I know
Grow the Gram. There's Grow the Gram in there. There's, if you have a Facebook group there, I have quite a few. And if you need coaching, if you want some help with the tech and just kind of setting up, then you can definitely reach out to me. So I agree with you with the communication part. And, I was lucky in El Paso. I didn't have a busy season because we didn't really have deadlines, but I see so many photographers right now because it is fall. And especially if you do seniors and families, this is go time for everybody, And I see people that are totally overwhelmed. One of my best friends is a photographer, and it's I always have to check in, okay, mental health check, because it's spring and fall. She is complete meltdown. And I keep saying to her, you need to let me help you automate your business. Why do you do this to yourself every year? Because I think she gets kind of burnt out, and then she just doesn't want to do anything. And then it's a cycle, and it's been our relationship for years. And so I always just checking in on you. How are you doing? What's your mental health state right now? And so I think just setting up these things and having really good communication. But one of the things too is like you're leaving money on the table if you don't have some of these systems set up, because you can upsell. When we get busy and we're like, frantic, we aren't providing, like, we're usually sacrificing something, and it's usually like our time or money. Another thing too, and as photographers, like, get in the habit of planning during your slow season. Like, everybody right now should be planning and writing emails. What's going to be your Black Friday sale? Are you going to offer anything for Black Friday? Are you going to offer anything for Cyber Monday? Because I promise you, come Thanksgiving, you are not going to want to like leave your family and start planning stuff. So get in the habit of knowing your seasons, knowing your busy and slow times, and setting up like emails or different strategies for that time. And just like having good communication. Email marketing is, you can schedule things out 6 months in advance. So, I mean, years in advance, you can really, but like get in the habit of just getting some of these systems in place. So.
Well, and your email list is all you have. Okay. I have said this till I'm blue in the face for years. Facebook can go bye-bye. Our business page, remember business pages? There's not much traction with the page. There's groups.
Yeah.
Our business page was hacked in July 15th. And I have literally been back and forth with Facebook 3 times a week minimum. And now the hackers have just deleted it. And they're like, all of a sudden now Facebook's like, oh, hey, thank God for our email list. Senior Style Guys at beta tester for Flowdesk. We use Flowdesk. We love Flowdesk. You own your email list. That's it. Yeah. So photographers, you own your email list. If you're suddenly off Facebook, or I know photographers who have been hacked this year terribly with Facebook. It's important that you have an email list. I can't say this enough. You may think you don't need one, but you need one. Julie just asked, did you say if you use a client management program? Yes, you use Acuity for scheduling, and you use 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐞.
I use Acuity. So my business is a little bit different because I use Acuity for scheduling, and I love Acuity. You can set it up. It links with like your Google or Apple Calendar, but you can set it up and you can send these automated emails. So for example, somebody can schedule like your session, and then it will automatically send them out an email that says, kind of some of these workflow things. And then you can set it up in there where you set it. So, hey, send this email out 2 weeks before, send this my appointment, send this out 1 week before my appointment, send this out the day after. And so really, and I see this a lot of times with a lot of entrepreneurs, that they're buying all of these different programs like 𝐸𝐢𝐤𝐞, 17 Hats stuff. But there are things like, I'm always like, I'm very practical, and I'm always like, okay, I know there's a workaround here where I don't have to pay for this. And so a scheduling app, and I think Acuity is like $15 a month. It's totally worth it. And you can set up a ton of these automations in just Acuity, because it goes off of the time that they schedule. And that's just a scheduling like app, and it's great. So, but there's other ones like 𝐸𝐢𝐤𝐞, contracts. There's a lot of them out there that are good. Do you need to, it's just like whatever you like, whatever in your business, but there's tons of tools you can use to automate your business.
And if you're just starting out and you don't want to pay for one of those, you can even just schedule your emails with Google. Very simply copy. You can have it, copy, paste, schedule for that particular client. It's a lot more work, but if you're just starting out, then, I get it. There's workarounds for everything, but do the path of least resistance. Do what is going to give you time to breathe. I've had so many talks in the last couple of weeks with photographers that are doing 150 sessions, and they're overwhelmed. They're shooting 1,000 to 1,500 images. They're giving the client 200 images. Again, paralysis analysis. They cannot zero in. And I've had lots of talks with photographers in the last couple of weeks, just random on the phone. Hey, how can we make this better for you? How can we help you? So this was
You know what my advice would be? It's time to raise your prices. If you're doing that many sessions, it looks like that's a sure sign of time to raise your prices.
It's not only time to raise your prices, it's time to stop shooting that many images. It's time to stop delivering that many images. It's time to cut your time down that you're shooting. I mean, some of these people are 4, 5+ hours.
Oh, geez.
So it's hard. And I understand. I remember delivering over 100 images in the beginning. And I remember how exhausted I was and how I couldn't figure anything. And I wasn't selling prints because they were getting so many images. Now I'm a big proponent of the KSW Amanda Holloway. You know, I was a 2013 alumni. She has 42 images. I give 42 images. They can buy books. They can buy wall art. They can buy prints. They can buy grad announcements, banners, yard signs. They can do everything with 42 images. And guess what? They all buy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So,
well, thank you, Brittni. Again, you can find
me.
You're going to put your website below. You're going to link your freebie below, and you can also find her classes in our Senior Style Guide shop. So go to shop.seniorstyleguide.com. You'll learn more. You'll love her.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you, Brittni.